Hello, MS Live. I'm your host, Dulci Hill, and I just want to say good morning to all those who are watching. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about fatigue, and I'm so hoping that it's going to be a uh, um, just a highly participate a high participation rate. And the reason why is I am exhausted. I just was so tired today. So I woke up and I started getting ready for this at 8:30. And the reason why I started getting ready is, Brian says, "Oh, you're starting so early." And I said, "Well, that's because, hi, Diana. I didn't know if I was going to." Here we go. All right, all right. I said, I'm starting early because I don't know if I'm going to have enough energy to get ready up until that time. So I decided that let me just start, see where this goes. So in the midst, I called my neurologist for a recommendation for energy pills because I'll tell you, I had Ritalin. Hi, Jane. You're actually not late. You're right on time, Jane. I've been, why Jane's been up since 2 a.m. Hi, Maureen. It's so good, and Paul's here. But why Jane's talking about being up since 2 a.m. and that's a problem with MS. We're tired during the day, and sometimes we're wide awake at night. So why are you awake, Jane? What? All right. You know what? Diana jumped over, right? Sarah, welcome. Miss ya on. We really had a really good Tuesday. So if you can go back and look at what's got microbes and how we're supposed to be paying more attention to that. Uh, so back to fatigue. So the my former neurologist that I got rid of, I fired, and I got a new neurologist who is going to help me, is helping me. I've known him for years, but my former neurologist would prescribe me Ritalin. The problem, and the new neurologist said, no, he doesn't do that because it's a controlled dangerous substance. So the problem is with MS when you take Ritalin, right? Ritalin gives you just a peak. It makes you go up, right, for a couple hours, like 2 hours. You're feeling good. You're alive. Actually, you're not feeling speedy. You're to me, this is I can only base this on my experience. Wasn't feeling speedy at all. All of a sudden, the fog lifts, and I'm in the moment. I'm in it. So what happens is that you're in the moment. The fog lifts. You've got about 2.5, 3 hours of greatness, and then all of a sudden you crashed. I crashed. And I got to be careful because if I take another Ritalin, which I'm supposed to do at that point, then I won't sleep. And yeah, yeah. So Jane said that she's up all night because she's keeping a neighborhood watch on things, and that's fun. That's fun. That's fun. Being you're primed up for that, Jane, because you are a natural watcher. Yeah. So anyway, so fatigue. We're talking fatigue. So you wake up and it's bizarre that when you are not suffering fatigue, and we're so aligned with focusing on the positive that we don't even think, gosh, I forgot. Yeah, in fact, you forget how bad uh, uh, your fatigue is. You forget how disabling it is. There's a number of people who have been, because I posted all over the place about fatigue today, and I just to get recommendations, and it is it's amazing the amount of people that can control it, that can control it with B12 injections, which I'll talk about. There's coffee. There's a number of people who control it with coffee. And I got to say, eh, question to all of you who control it with getting a B12 injection uh, every month, because there was a number of you who did that. My question is I wouldn't think B12 injections would work if uh, uh, your B12 levels are normal, right? If you are low on B12, then a B12 injection would work. But if you are at the top level B12, you take whatever. Do they work? So tell me if you get B12 injections, do they work if your vitamin, your B12 levels say that you've got enough. And the reason why is because B12, you got, they say that if you take vitamins you don't need, you're just gonna pee them out. You're gonna have expensive urine. So obviously I needed to. All right, so I'm gonna turn a little bit with that. All right, B12. So we're gonna research this together. All right, doesn't work. All right, so actually, I'm googling why. Okay. All right, yeah, it says B12 deficiency causes anemia and tiredness. But if you're not deficient, uh, why, why take it? All right, I don't know. So this is what I'm looking at. So B12. All right, and they are on YouTube. They're talking about cannabis and CBD oil for helping sleep. So it's more of a issue about sleep deprivation right now. Um, it's true. I mean, I lay in bed. Sometimes I wake up and I think, hi Susan. I think, hi Judy. I got to get out of bed and paint. I got to clean. I got to do something. I've got more energy at 3 in the morning than I do. This morning I got out of bed at 8 o'clock, and my eyes decided that they were not going to commit. You ever get like that out of bed and you start walking to the bathroom and your eyes are like, no, go back to bed. My eyes wouldn't open. They wouldn't open. Funny, funny, uh, funny. So anyway, so all right, we're looking at things that will elevate your mood. There's people that talk about, how about the 10-hour shots, which have B12 and All right, B12. B12, it's got copious amounts of caffeine in there. What's the side effect of having too much of the caffeine is that you get heart palpitations. Uh, it's I don't know. I just don't know. So the good thing about B12 is that if you get too much of it, or you don't need it, you just pay it out. Too much caffeine can make you racy, can elevate if you know what, if you have polycystic uh, if you're a female, it will increase the lumps in your breast. If you got lumpy breasts, it's something that we should avoid. All right, so participate or help me out because I am tired. I need you guys. All right, so THC at nighttime, it just, you know, oh no, I don't know. The other thing is that I know. All right, so my fall two book. My fall two book, multiple sclerosis and 300 tips. All right, so I want to look up fatigue. All right, fatigue. Let's see, where is fatigue? All right, fatigue. Oh, it doesn't say. All right, energy. No, it should be number one. All right, Diana is saying that exercise is important. Exercise is good for dealing with the MS hug. Uh, it's true. Hi there, Shabria. You know what? I miss you on Tuesday, so you need to. I miss you on Tuesday. Um, but it's true. It is. I I got to tell you guys something. I went to a physical therapist that is local because I didn't want to drive out of town to go to my physical therapist. So I went to this new physical therapist. He's gonna assess me so that I can walk better. I can be better. So you sit on the table. When I walk in, there's a receptionist and there is a personal training assistant working with the gentleman, right? So then they set me up in my own room, and I said, okay, okay. So I sit down on a table. They bring in a television set, and on the TV screen pops up a physical therapist, a older guy, meaning he looked like he had been in retirement and didn't feel like going, but he's in his living room. He's my physical therapist. He's going to assess what is wrong with me, what I need to work on, so he can tell the personal training or the physical therapist assistant what to do to help better me. But he's on the television. He's like me right now to you guys. So I'm sitting there. So pretend like I'm looking at you and you're sitting on your bed, and I'm like, so tell me, how you doing? You have foot drop. It says here you got a hip problem. And I look at him and I said, I don't know whose chart you're reading, but I don't have a hip problem. And I said, well, let me get this straight. You are my physical therapist and you are virtually assessing what's wrong with me? He said, yes. I said, well, why aren't you here? And he said, well, I have got a lot of comorbidities or morbidities, and I'm kind of autoimmune compromised. My wife won't let me come in. So I looked at him and I said, wait, wait, I cannot breathe with a face mask. I am sitting here risking my life so that because I'm autoimmune compromised for 30 plus years, over 30 years, and you won't be in the same room. I'm risking my life so I can walk. But and you see this slappy, sarcastic grin. And so I'm waiting to hear what he had to say because my first non-Christian instinct is to say something nasty and get up and walk out when he popped on the screen. Yeah, all right, get out and use my walker and drag myself out. But I didn't. I didn't. I sat there on the bench and I looked in the corner for the camera because this is funny stuff. There's funny stuff that's going on. And I'm thinking, you best not be billing my insurance company for. Uh, and here's another question: if this guy is sitting on his couch, why am I not sitting on my couch? If he's going to virtually talk to me, why do I have to come in? I mean, he's more able bodied than me. And no, it is. I do know what I should do. So he finally says to me, he says, are you uncomfortable with this? And I said, extremely. I'm extremely uncomfortable. This is not going to happen. And I'm laughing because it's crazy. I'm thinking. So he started backpedaling, trying to find me places that are local that have swimming pools so I can do the physical therapy because I tell him I like to be in the pool. Well, you know what I discovered? God has his reason. I discovered that all the physical therapies, with the exception of one, all of them they're not doing. The pools have closed because of lack of lifeguards, uh, except for my pool. But we've got some serious problems with hydrotherapy. So I learned that. Meanwhile, I walk out and I think about this guy. I'm thinking, I'm waiting. If he tries to bill my insurance, I'll enter a fraud. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't assess somebody to help walk better unless you lay hands on them. Stretch, find out if they're spastic, forget it. So I found this other place that specializes in rehabbing multiple sclerosis. So I'm going to be going on Monday. And they told me to be very clear, we assign you with a physical therapist who will be with you the entire time. You won't be handed off to an assistant. Uh, anyway, so now, what this place is supposed to do, it's another thing I got bashed on, is I published a story about end stage MS. What is end stage MS? Well, it does. It sounds scary. It that is when you have symptoms that are so hard to overcome that it's just they're all piled up that now you're dizzy, you're too dizzy to stand up. I'm just giving you an example of me. Too dizzy to stand up. You're too tired to even want to stand up. Let's see. You say you're drinking water and you're coughing a lot because you're having problems swallowing. You've got problems with incontinence. You have high May. It's true. So how do you deal with that? And it's not, Susan, it's not sad and scary, because words, people put meaning behind words that words don't have power. If you, defining what it is, what they consider end stage MS, yeah, is has no power. If you describe something that is very much like the way I feel, if I can find what to do, and they had a protocol on what to do if you have end stage MS, what to do. Guess what? Number one, number one thing to do. All right, come on, feedback. Tell me what's the number one thing they recommend to do. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. I love Jeopardy. Da 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 da. Love you, May. Uh, ding ding ding. All right. You know what? May is the closest so far. All right. So the closest. Uh, Chung, that's fun. Yeah, eat more food. Think positive. I love the answers though. But May, you are the closest. We're supposed to exercise. We're supposed to do physical therapy. We're supposed to learn to use, once our nerves fail us, even if they fail us permanently, our muscles have memory. And we go to physical therapy, we exercise, we lift weights, we do things that are hard to do because our muscle memory will overcome our ability to for the nerves to work. I think about doing squats when I could do squats easily. Squats were a great thing for me to do because what happens is when my knee gave out, when my muscles would keep me from falling, right? Because they'd engage. The nerve to my knee and my hip flexor, it would fail, and I go down, but halfway down, my hamstrings would kick in, and I wouldn't fall. It just, and May says neuroplasty. It's wonderful. So exercise. Now you know what, May, I haven't been doing. I have the exercise. Playlist on YouTube, but I haven't been doing that because I think I'm stretching myself too thin. So number one is exercise, right? And it's not doing laps, right? It's meaningfully using our bodies in a way that we can use our bodies. All right. And it's so hard for me because I go to the pool, and what do I want to do? Instead of warming up my shoulders, I just want to jump in and swim at my 40 lengths. I want to do that because it's like going for a walk. It's just like uh, going for a walk. So I'll tell you what. Kind of like early on, uh, you want to do squats or do you want to do push-ups? All right. For those of us with MS, you want to do push-ups, right? Because push-ups are easier. The muscles and the nerves are working. Push-ups are easier than squats because squats, at some point your nerves may drop you. All right. The good. All right. The nerves and then muscle memory. You might get failure, muscle or nerve failure. You've got to work to get the muscle memory. You have to take your baclofen to make sure that you're not spastic, so that you're, you know. And Diana is giving us wonderful advice. She says we can start with planks. Uh, uh, That's funny. And then there's a yoga pose that Chung likes to do. It's called the dying cockroach. That's funny. You're a funny guy, Chung. I love your Facebook page because I just left. Chung also just took a picture of some milk he bought that had an expiration date of what is it, October 13th, 1538. 1538. And the more I thought about it, the more I laughed because I'm thinking, he posted, he's got King Henry VIII's milk, and I'm thinking, you know what? You know how many probiotics that it, that's like kefir. That's probably, put a little bit, a teaspoon a day, if it doesn't kill you, I'm telling you, it's got to be the cure for everything. So, yeah, I'd like to get me some of that 1538 year. The year is 1538. So, John, it just, I was delighted. I was delighted. Uh, all right, let's see here. All right, okay, it's good. All right, going back to fatigue. If we do these exercises, even when we don't want to do something, even if it's wrong, you go and you do these squats, you do the doorknob squats, you do my playlist exercise videos, you do that, you swim. It is make sure you have your crock pot full of dinner, pre-plan, because there's one or two things that will happen after you exercise, right? And especially when you're building up enough strength to do that, one or two things. And at first, it's going to be one thing. You're going to prepare everything so you, when you come back from exercise, when you're finished and you crash and you crash, you're exhausted. I like Chung, I like what you said. Eat, you get to eat. Love eating. In fact, that used to be the only reason why I exercise, because I like eating. Okay, so anyway, you're gonna crash. But the thing is it's kind of like when you take baclofen. At first, it makes you so sleepy, but the longer you take it, the less sleepy you get. Well, it's very much like exercising. It doesn't feel any more than exhausting at first. But when you have, say, late stage, end stage, when you have MS, I'm just going to say, when you have MS, you got to exercise. Yeah, because it will give you more energy eventually. Sometimes, now, all right, not all the time. Sometimes, we work like a maniac and organize your house, garage selling stuff, and the next day you wake up and you're just so tired. And like today, I'm going to go to the pool anyway. But if you set out dinner, you make sure that that's done. I'll walk the dogs first. I have a Polaris, like a golf cart, and I take the dogs for a walk, and they run like crazy beside me, and I go around the block, and that's good. That gives you energy. You eat to level your blood sugar. We had an episode about that. That will help. And I'm thinking about going over to Goodwill and getting a Turkish espresso pot so I can make my own, because I'm going to try that. Uh, Let's see. All right. And Jane walked away a bit. The nerve of you, Jane. That's all right. I've been ignored by more interesting people than you. I doubt that's true. All right. To be dissed by Jane Bug is to be mortally wounded. Nah, it's okay. Well, anyway, it's so you're fatigued. You have to eat. You have to exercise. Um, you have to sleep a set number of hours. Your bedtime's got to be the same time, and your wake up time has got to be the same, around the same time. So, go to bed at 10, say, and then read or do what you have to from 10 to 11, and then getting up the same time, about 8 o'clock, whatever. And and the reason why is that a lot of times you get in bed and it's rough. It's hard to roll over in end stage MS. It's or advanced MS. It's hard to move your body in bed to roll over or to sleep on your side. It's hard. So it's you have to do the physical therapy. There's occupational therapy that will help you be more productive uh, in your house. Help you roll over, help you shower. They'll even come to your house and assess what the problem is, what you're doing. Uh, let's see. Um, okay, so fatigue. So we talked about B12 shots, or I did. Nobody chimed in about B12 shots. Uh, okay. All right, exercise. We talked about that. Stretching. You got to stretch. Yeah, but you know what? Hi there, summer lady. That's a good question. All right. There's two questions. One, or Chung's mentioning that he's got a watch that tells him to roll over. So, but real quick, Chung, does that watch roll you over? How is it that you can get a body that decides that it doesn't want to move in bed? You're laying on the side and you've got no uh, grips because I don't know. I got to figure out how to do that. All right. And Summer Lady said, is end stage MS something that will happen to everyone with MS? And the answer is no, no. End stage MS actually can be different for each person. It has it has something to do with how much activity you had with relaxing remitting. All right. Think about the hi Kim. Think about the chickens coming home to roost, right? So you've had all this damage because of relaxing remitting. Uh, say you haven't been on a disease modifying medication, you've had attacks that have uh, just caused things like dizziness. You have all these things. So now all of a sudden, uh, yeah, all of a sudden, some of these chickens, these old attacks. Think of chickens as being attacked. You have a boatload of chickens. Suppose you only had three chickens, three attacks. Where I'm going with this is that if they leave, if I had it, and I've had dozens and dozens of chickens, all right, dozens of attacks, dozens. When they leave, right, you return to normal. there's a very good chance if you only had 3, 5 attacks that that's damage. That damage may never return permanently. The idea of end stage MS is that you've had a lot of attacks. They've been really damaging attacks. They leave. Your chickens leave. You return to normal, and all of a sudden, after 20 or 30 years at these end stage, when you go into secondary progressive, or say you're getting worse with primary progressive, all these damage, all these chickens, this damage that is now becoming a little permanent. The idea is that, all right, we got a nerve. All right, pretend my fingers are one solid nerve. One solid nerve. You see, now all of a sudden you've got little attacks that have gone around the nerve at where the fingers uh, are together. All of a sudden, right? All of a sudden, you've had MS for so long, the exposed nerve right there between fingers has become brittle, and it breaks. So the nerve impulses down that nerve is not working. So what am I saying? That's a chicken that came home, and that's not, that is a bad chicken. That's a bad chicken. All right. And so you have to deal with creating muscle memory to. So all right, I don't know whether you follow me. I'm trying to be clear, but remember, I'm dealing with fatigue and cognitive function. One of the things that you need to know, and summer lady, is that we may not all get there. We are our worst disabilities uh, are end stage for each person defined by how much damage they had while their disease is active. Uh, how much damage? If you didn't have a lot of damage, I had tons of damage, right? But if you didn't have a lot of damage, and don't forget, if you've only had a number of attacks, and say you've had stem cell therapy, you're on this fantastic medication. That's why I believe in disease modifying medication. You are on medication that keeps you 80% from having an MS attack. You are it's an insurance policy that will make sure that you don't keep having chickens. You don't have attacks. The less attacks you have, the less likely you're going to have the neurological damage that uh, can be disabling to those of us who've had MS for 30 plus years and have had an active, an active aggressive disease. Because what happens, I still have active MS, but I have secondary progressive. Secondary progressive is old damage that it's secondary progressive is when the chickens come back to roost, the old damage comes back, and relapsing remitting is when you have a new chicken and they're heading out. They're now you can if you have inactive MS, you're only dealing with the old attacks. If you have, I don't know, all right. So, uh, you know, it is, and Chung says that his wife and his aide helps him to roll over in bed. That would be nice. That would be nice. And Diana says she gets up to go to the bathroom. at 3 in the morning, before we could all chat at 3 in the morning. I used to think that our solution is remyelination. Because at first, when I started studying MS, it was all about preventing attacks. And remember, Karen, who's not with us today, uh, remember it was beta seron was the only medication. And then what happened was, after when the chickens started coming home to roost, I thought, oh, I need remyelination, right? I need to study that. So I followed. There was a group of medical doctors that had remyelination. And I studied so many articles about remyelination. But after understanding MS, through so much of my studying it, you know what we need, Diane? What we need? We need nerve regrowth, because our problem isn't patching up these holes, right? It is early on, while the chicken's out, before the chickens come back, all right? If we can cover that up within 10 years, or remyelinate these holes, these patches, if we can do that, then the chickens come back. Well, it's like the door is closed. You can't come back, because this nerve is not going to break, because we've got remyelination. So early on, the stage of MS, fighting MS logically. Disclaimer, I am not a doctor, but I play one on MS. So don't take any of my advice seriously. Don't take, it's all based on what I see, what I've studied. I've got neurology books. I knew that. All right. So based on the logic, uh, all right. At first, you're going to fight things that causes a hole in the nerve fibers, right? First, you got to fight. All right. All right. So you got to fight things that create holes on the myelin, right? That's the first stage, relapsing remitting, because even though there's little dents there, we still are able to manage. We don't look like, yeah, I had an attack. And don't we rush like crazy to get Salumedrol? But what I've studied is that they have seen that people who take Salumedrol versus people who don't take steroids when they have attacked have no greater, no worse disability. It's not improved. You don't lessen the chances. All you do is during that attack, you get better quicker, because it reduces the swelling that is happening in that nerve. So, but guess what? 20 years down the line, when the chickens come back to the roost, it won't make a difference whether that chicken will come back or not. Won't make a difference. All right. So, anyway, first stage, prevent the hole. Second stage, uh, you've got 10 years now to figure out how to cover up the holes. Third stage is to regenerate the nerves. If you can't regenerate, and now we're looking, third stage is now we're looking at end stage. End stage is when it breaks, the nerves break. What happens when the nerves break? So we don't walk around and tell everybody, well, I outlived the use of my body, I'm ready. Instead of doing that, we have got to promote muscle memory, deal with fatigue. We have to exercise. We have to, the range of motions. We have to do these things we don't want to do. Uh, Oh, Chung. You know what? Chung's wife, Chung has primary progressive MS, and he's got the greatest wife in the world. By the way, we all have great spouses. Statistically speaking, there's another thing I have studied, is that if a couple is married and the wife gets diagnosed within the marriage, the husband is more likely to leave. The divorce rate is very high, right? If the husband and wife get married after she's been diagnosed with MS, and the husband knows better MS and marries her, the divorce rate is lower, is lower, right? So now let's look at the husband and wife, right? If the husband and wife are married and the husband is diagnosed with MS within that, they have a low divorce rate. Women it just statistically, women stick to their spouses uh, if there's a health difficulty. Uh, You know what? And steroids. I did. You know what? I'm going to go back to steroids. Diana is talking about. She won't do steroids unless it affects her vision. And you know what? I caution you to resist using steroids. And why I will caution, the reason why I will caution you is that it compromises your bones. I have osteoporosis because of that. All these medications that we take have risk of other things that can occur. All right. Remember, it's risk reward, risk reward. Uh, it is. Uh, All right, Chung, I don't understand. There are a study on MS for women. I don't know the question. I don't understand. Yeah, it's awesome. But then again, you know, I got, my first husband, I was diagnosed after I was married. He is, uh, uh, my first husband hated illness and couldn't be with. Yeah, he hated illness, so that wasn't going to work out. Even though I was dealing with MS, but I never complained. Got divorced. My second husband, he married me with MS. I let me. He says, you don't even know you're sick. It's funny. It's funny. Um, Jung Yinzu, MS is more common in women. There are statistics about MS being more common in certain people in certain situations. Grew up in a certain area. There are All right, there are just a lot. Now Sarah is letting us know that she had hyperbolic oxygen treatment, and the exam showed improvement. And I gotta ask you about that. What kind of improvement does hyperbolic oxygen treatment? How does that help people with MS? Gotta ask that. And because there's a dichotomy, remember, oxygen helps oxidize our bodies. Oxygen, too much oxygen is bad. Is you know, think about it. Rust cars. It ages us, right? Uh, John, I thank God for your wife. I think what's your wife's name? So we all can thank God for your wife. You know what? All right, Sarah, that is vision's clearer, muscles are stronger. All right, that's a really good a good anecdotal uh, um, result from somebody with MS. Uh, Yuki. All right, let's quick. I'm gonna quick say prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you for Yuki, Lord. I thank God for Yuki. Thank you for Chung's wife and his aide, and Lord bless her especially. Bless her even especially for being such a wonderful wife and caregiver. Thank you for all of our spouses that deal with the difficulties that we don't even see. Thank you thank you. Lord. Bless them, comfort them, uh, allow them just to feel the love and the encouragement that only you can provide. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Anyway, Yuki is great. And you know what I was going to say that was my question, Sarah, about insurance. All right, and Sarah says insurance doesn't cover hyperbolic oxygen treatment. That's true, but I'm wondering, what if you get a tank of oxygen? I'm so Rube Goldberg. how do you get it done? How do you get it done? Is there a way what about oxygen treatment? Just getting an oxygen mask and breathing pure oxygen for a couple hours a day. Will that work? You know what? All right, I gotta write that down. All right, oxygen. All right, all right. Sorry about that. Okay, oxygen. I've got my list here. All right, I gotta check that out. Oxygen. All right, I'm gonna check that out because I'm wondering, what do you guys think? What do you think? If will that give us more energy if we just sit there with an oxygen tank? Uh, I don't know. Let's see. Uh, Kind of expensive. All right. All right. So, all right, oxygen therapy. What about just plain? Do you have to have it your entire body? What about your lungs? I don't know. And there is. So we talked about B12. B12 increases the oxygen for each cell, but if you are deficient, uh, that will help. But if you're not deficient, I don't see how that will help. Right. Okay. Because Jane's talking about being claustrophobic, and all right, all right. You know what? And Sarah says what's good about the hyperbolic oxygen chamber is that when you're there, it decreases the air pressure that makes it different from just oxygen. Uh, and that's really interesting because to me, I'm thinking let's see, I feel worse when it's low pressure, right? When it's stormy, when there's low pressure, but I feel best when there's high pressure. it's a sunny day, it's a high pressure. I feel bad. So it's interesting. I gotta ask. Most people like high pressure. The higher pressure we live under, the better we feel. So I'm just it helps with arthritis. It's like getting a hug. It's when uh, oh, that felt good. I I I didn't realize I hurt. All right, so it's how much, Sarah? How much did your session cost, and how long was it? How long was your session? Uh, uh, and Diana, being a former flight attendant, she said that when she'd go on long trips, she'd go up to the cockpit and take a few breathe. She'd breathe a bit on his oxygen. Uh, that was okay. And Sarah said that a 1 hour treatment in hyperbaric oxygen therapy is $350. 350 an hour. So whenever I'm looking down here at YouTube, whenever you see my eyes like that, I'm reading. I'm reading what you're interacting. Whenever I'm looking like this, I'm looking at you, YouTube. Whenever I'm looking at like this, I'm looking at you, Facebook. And then whenever I'm looking down here, I'm reading. So, and then, all right. Uh, Chung says it's once a month. Oh no, Chung asked, do you do the therapy once a month or is it weekly? Uh, um, Good question. Good question. Um, anyway, so I've got to uh, let's see, oxygen treatment. Okay, Sarah, is it once a month or weekly? How often are you supposed to do it for MS? Uh, that's what. All right, electrician, and not sure how often is that. Okay, that's another thing we've got to research. Well, anyway, it's the end of the hour. I am here to tell you that I so appreciate all of you for joining in, helping me get through this. Tired today, tired. But you know what? I have to exercise. I'm going to the gym. I should do some squats. I got to do that. But you need to exercise too. I'll look a little bit into oxygen and let's go to msfrontiers.org. Subscribe to this channel if you on YouTube, on Facebook, if you go to Dulci Hill, if you go to any search engine and you put Dulci Dulci Hill in that search engine, you'll find me. Get on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Facebook, join Meerkats. I love you all. Thank you for participating. And let me pray us out. Lord, thank you for everybody who's been here today, helping each other. Lord, you said that we're all part of the body collective, Lord, and we all help each other. So we all have a responsibility when we're here to just to love on each other and comfort on each other, Lord. And I give so much thanks for the words that came through different people the words you laid on my tongue. And Lord, keep me obedient, serving others. Lord, this channel is not about me. This channel is about you. And I give thanks for everyone here. Comfort them, Lord, and give them strength to do what is impossible. Protect them. In Jesus' name, I give thanks. Amen. All right, guys. Thank you for participating, and I will talk to you on Tuesday. Have a wonderful weekend.